afternoon to each one of you here. I'm Dr. Rajshri Vasudevan, your MC for the evening. Looking forward to make it a memorable day for everyone. Let's start with a small activity. Request each one of you to stretch out your hand to your neighbor and gently remind them to switch off their mobile phones. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Swami Vivekananda rightly said, education is the manifestation of perfection already in man. For knowledge is the power to do, in our momentous march towards empowerment through education. The grand launch of a pioneering institution, Auronya, Puducherry. This has been made possible by a visionary team of dynamic educationists and change initiators in the presence of a discerning, distinguished audience here. In keeping with our Indian tradition, we have the lighting of the lamp by the dignitaries to the chants of mantras on education. All guests to be kindly seated and listen to the mellifluous rendition of the auspicious Jaina Navakar mantra, Stuti to Ganesha, the removal of all vignas, and the inspiring Vande Mataram. I request the volunteers to lead the members of the Governing Council, Mr. Abhay Kumar Jain, Dr. Indira Parekh, Mr. Gopal Srinivasan, Mr. Abhay Firodia, and our chief guest for the day, Mr. N. Lakshmi Narayanan, to the dais to light the lamp.
Savasahunam Eso Panchanamukaro Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kumedeva Sarvakareshu Sarvada.
big thank you to the dignitaries, and that was surely a beautiful beginning to the event. We're happy to inform you that the Auronya website is now on. It is said great things never come from comfort zones. And we have the best example in Mr. Abhay Kumar Jain, founder executive chairman Auronya, who by constantly pushing his boundaries has dared to soar higher and higher with a blend of visionary zeal and fruitful action. Born to Sri Shankarlal and Srimati Sundarbai Jain, who reallocated in early 20th century from Rajasthan to erstwhile Madras, he brings a unique perspective to all his activities, which range from the routine to the eclectic. An engineering graduate from Madras University, his early education went beyond classroom teaching to include horse riding, backpacking across India, sailing, playing the guitar, and the works. An industrialist and social educationist for over 4 decades. Shankarlal Sundarbai Shashan Jain College for Women, former Secretary General Sri SSS Jain Education Society, Secretary Pawan Shanti Nilayam, and member in the Board of Management, Sri Ramachandra University. As member of the board of Sony Imageworks India Private Limited, which was launched when Sony acquired the Indian animation studio Frameflow in 2007, the visual effects of some of the major films like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Men in Black 3, I Am Legend, 2012, were actually done here. Former Chairman, Confederation of Indian Industry, Chennai Zone, Member Academic Council, Anna University, Finance Controller and Advisor, ex-Nora International, former VP, Bulk Truck Manufacturers Association, former Secretary, Madras Management Association. His corporate profile, coupled with his social philanthropic activities, have fetched him many awards at various levels. To name a few: Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, Ernst & Young 2003, TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs Award, Chennai Chapter 2008, CII Southern Regions, 101 Entrepreneurs from Tamil Nadu 2008, Rajasthan Shri by the Rajasthan Association, For the Sake of Honor by the Rotary Club of Madras Southwest 2009, the Southern India Rajasthan Chamber of Commerce Business Award 2012, the Rasa Udyog Ratna Award by Chemical Industries Association. In this brief capsule, he speaks about his journey of learning and discovery, preparing for the transformative change of the fourth revolution through Auronya and the PG program Antarishk. If versatility is a middle name, it would belong to Sri Abhay Kumar Jain. I invite him to welcome the gathering.
Our future is just a part of the journey.
Thank you, sir, for that warm welcome. We have here amongst us, if I may say so, a petite colossus in the field of education, Dr. Indira Parekh. She believed she could, so she did. That aptly sums up the inspiring journey of Professor Indira Parekh, President of universities abroad like Fontainebleau, France, and Texas A&M University, USA, from occupying important positions in FICCI and CII to founding institutions of liberal education, she has done it all. Professor Indira Parekh has been honored with 3 And by PGP students, IIM Ahmedabad 2003-5 batch. While embracing technology-driven pedagogical methods, Dr. Indira has never lost sight of her ancient Indian moorings, which she incorporates effectively into teaching as well. In this evocative capsule, she urges students to explore undiscovered terrains, blossom as sensitive human beings, taking up leadership roles in society and the world. Dr. Indira Parekh.
My dear friends, Auronya is a search for wisdom from the ancient civilization and the wisdom of the future which is emerging. Auronya is an institution which will discover terrains not discovered before and create a landscape of future education. It will prepare the present and the future generation to grow into proud citizens who will contribute to the growth, development and prosperity of each and every citizen of the nation. They will blossom as sensitive human beings responsive to the well-being of their families. They will take leadership roles so as to transform themselves and give shape to the emerging Industrial Revolution 4.0. The values of life, living and relationships will acquire an immense significance as the world invents more and more complex technology. Auronya visualizes an institution where students of today and tomorrow climb a mountain to look beyond the vast invisible horizons, meander like a river and discover the resilience and strength to navigate the barriers which they come across. Take a random walk through the forest to discover the diversity and beauty of nature and delve deep into the ocean of wisdom and find gems of knowledge. And most important, to grow as leaders of men, women, institutions, and the country. Auronya, in creating the institution of Antariksh, is first postgraduate program on preparing future leaders. We welcome you to join us to begin the creation of the new leadership in education 4.0. Welcome once again and God bless us all. Jai Hind.
We are indeed fortunate to listen to you today, ma'am. Thank you so much. Activity, it is said, is noisy, but achievement is silent. We are happy to have in our midst an achiever whose actions speak for him, Mr. Lakshmi Narayanan. technologist to program manager to regional head of Tata in India. He was awarded the Data Quest IT Person of the Year 2008 by the Cyber
Good evening, friends. Thank you very much for that introduction. I'll just begin from a script given to me by Abhay and talk a little bit about education and end with the script again given by Abhay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for assembling here today to witness Auronya. It's always inspirational to see India's academic leaders like Dr. Indraji, and of course, I must add, industry change leaders like Abhay Kumar to take the resolve for bringing a change in our education system that needs to be reinvented to meet the aspirations of global India in the 21st century. The process of education itself has undergone tremendous amount of change in the last 10-20 years. From teaching to a significant shift to learning has happened, is happening, and it will continue to happen. But the basics have remained same. I had my early education in science and then went on to learn several other disciplines. Like in every area, you have certain basic principles, basic themes. If you were to look at physics, a subject that I studied, there are some basic things that we learned at the 6th, 7th, and 8th standards about laws of motion, about electricity and the electromagnetic theory, basics, something about space and time, etc. Something about astronomy, Galileo's rules, and so on. These have remained firm for the last several centuries. Any program that we launch today, the space program that anybody anywhere in the world launches, is well grounded in the basic laws of motion, in the basic theory of relativity. The way the GPS systems work is based on the basic rules or theories that were expounded 60, 70, 80 years back. I shouldn't be talking about some of these basic things in the presence of Dr. T. Ramaswamy, the former secretary of the Department of Science and Technology, who has created great many research institutions in the field of science and technology. But the point that I want to make is science, application of science and these rules to engineering and technology well developed, and there is continuing research that is happening well formed on the basic rules of science. We learn these things at the school level, the basic science. When we get into college, some advanced notions, again based on these fundamentals. And then as we pursue research, we interact, we question, we start asking some questions in related fields and try and solve those type of problems. But one important thing that happens, I'm sure it happens in other disciplines as well, is when we learn the basics at the school level, when we come to the college, there is a refreshment. There is those points, those things that we learned at the school level are reiterated at the college level. And then when you go into the research institutions, again, what we learned at the college level are reiterated. Many say that the education that they receive or the learning happens either at the college or the research level or after they have left the education institutions. This is proven too. NPTEL, the online IIT courses that are available, very, very popular. Hundreds of topics are available. Used by literally thousands of people, lakhs and lakhs of people. But the significant part of the people who use the content in NPTEL is essentially the course material for IITs. The most significant number of users, close to about 60%, are IITians. Many of them say, yes, we learned some of it, but not all of it while we were in college. We need to come out and start learning. And there is a method, there is content, there is a process, there is a platform that's available for them to learn. So we have this model that is time tested, and that is something that is applicable, I believe, in all areas. Again, in the areas of social sciences, humanities, we learn at the school level about society, social sciences, human being as a social being. We learn history, we learn basics of law, and then we tend to specialize in each of these areas. Again, I do believe that at the higher levels, at the graduate and the postgraduate level, there is a refresher of the basics that we have learned, just to make sure that we have learned it right, and then open up the minds for individuals to pursue their line of thought, their line of curiosity, their line of thinking, and further continue that research. Two important things are necessary for that kind of a learning. One, a good environment, and two, diversity, where you interact and collaborate with diverse set of people with different levels of knowledge in different areas of specialization, in an environment that is conducive to learning, in an environment that is free from pressure, free from competition among students. That's the type of environment that I believe will create individuals who will not only learn well, but also be able to teach and turn out to be good human beings. I believe Auronya has the potential to provide all these type of learning opportunities, create individuals and groups who will be high performers. Like science, when applied, becomes engineering and technology, I believe arts, social sciences, humanities, its application will lead to management skills, management thought, and leadership. I wish Dr. Indraji and Abhay Kumarji the best in creating an institution that will stand out from the rest. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those inspiring words coming from a leader in the industry. Symbols are the imaginative signposts of life. They define the depth and range of an idea, revealing its meaning and application. So here goes with the Auronya College logo, one of its kind. We can see the gradual evolution of the logo from its conceptualization to its actualization to its final form at the symbol of Auronya.
Is an exploration of the primordial shapes of square, circle, and triangle based on philosophical and diagrammatic representation of the liberal educational institution.
What an unraveling of a symbol in full flow. We have here a breathtakingly taken video of the sea-soaked marvel that is Puducherry, leading to the image of the new campus of Auronya College, the future of education space. The campus is in Auroville and shall be the golden forest of knowledge. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much, said Helen Keller, the amazing role model for all of us. A group becomes a team when all members are sure of themselves and their contribution to praise the skill of others. And what a team we have here as members of the governing board, advisory council, and team Auronya. All achievers in their own right and willing to share their precious wisdom for the good of society. We now have a quick run through of the team in the order mentioned. Members of the governing board, Dr. David Gaushti, International Research, Engagement and Development, Swinburne University of A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way, said John Maxwell. This sign of dynamic leadership is in full evidence in Professor Anuj Sharma, Dean Auronya, who takes upon himself the mantle of steering the dream ship of the founders. His academic path has moved on a fast-forward trajectory from New Delhi to the USA, back to India. A postgraduate from 3 most prestigious universities abroad, Harvard Graduate School of Education, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Cornell University, USA. He's pursuing his doctoral in international business from Horizons University, Paris, France, and in human resources framework from University of Switzerland. 18 years experience as industry consulting and teaching. Experimenting with human-robot class participation at MIT, USA, and now he is reallocated to Pondicherry as the Dean Auronya. Revolution by its very name is transformational, notwithstanding the irreversible changes that it may bring in its sweep. Tackling the crucial question, why education is pitted as the 4th industrial revolution, Professor Anuj Sharma analyzes the meeting points of various disciplines that are making it possible. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome from Team Auronya to all of you. In order to know where we are going, we must first know where we came from, because our future is a part of a journey that started long ago, as it was said by Regina's video. So let's take a look at where this journey started for humanity. Started with the hunter-gatherer era. We were hunters, and in order to feed ourselves from Mother Nature, we started hunting. And in that era, the most important things were strength and speed. If you were fast, if you were strong, you could hunt and you could survive. Or else, humans in those eras used to starve. Education always supported the eras of humanity. And in that era, apprenticeship-based streams of study came into existence. We learned from whatever we saw or the master who taught the pupil. Soon, we learned how to harvest. And the power of harvest was so powerful, it unleashed the agriculture era. Know-how and stamina became important, with seeds to sow, what plants to eat, what weather comes, how the crops grow, as well as the stamina. Earth was abundant, so more hands were needed to cultivate the earth. Labor augmentation became very important. The more hands, the merrier. Humans started multiplying. The streams of knowledge that came into existence in the agriculture era were geosciences, agriculture. Then came the major shift, which was the industrial era. Industrial revolution started centuries ago. The time span of each one of these eras have been shortened. Labor efficiency and optimization were the keys of this era. And if humans were not efficient, simply labor was replaced. And labor replacement came into being. Engineering, commerce-based streams of study came up to support humanity during the industrial era. The information era started just 60 years ago, in 1969, when we discovered computers and internet. It has been lasting for the last 6 decades. Acquired knowledge and skills became important in this era because new technologies come up and we just simply go for a training and acquire that particular skill. Computer sciences, business-based streams came into existence. And humanity stands right here. We are here at the dawn of a new age era, which is being called as the 4th Industrial Revolution. It's yet to be defined. We do not know what will happen in the next 10 to 15 years when a lot of technologies mature, because they are affecting the way we live and the way we work in the future. Creativity, agility, adaptability will be required in the next 10 to 15 years. Because a lot of these technologies will free us time to actually think creatively emotions, intuitions, and ethics will become far more important. Yeah? It's better? Okay. Going back, so Auronya seeks to answer the future streams of study. What knowledge, what skills, what abilities, what education should we be teaching now for the future? That's Auronya's main aim. Looking at the industrial era, the first revolution that took place in humanity was in the power of steam. We discovered steam and it transformed us. In that era, in those years, mobility was the key. Big civilizations like the British empires, they were mobile so they could conquer the world. And steam changed our transportation and our industries. The second industrial revolution, Industry 2.0, happened in about 100 years later in 1870, when humanity discovered electricity and mechanical production, which transformed not only the industry, but it actually started transforming the way we live our personal lives in our homes. The third industrial revolution started in 1969. In the USA, they were looking for better ways to send posts because posts was inefficient. And we actually invented internet. Internet was invented as an email messaging communication system. And today, internet is simply just not an email communication system. It surrounds us, it's defining us, it's the way we live, the way we work. The fourth industrial revolution is starting right now. It beckons humanity. What has happened is, since 1969 to 2000, technologies were being developed to support the businesses, to automate the businesses, to operationalize the businesses. But somewhere around 2005, technologies went on an exponential pace of growth. And now it's the opposite. Businesses are being started up based on new technologies that come up. One new technology comes up and 10 startups come up along with it. We are living in a very transformative times. And in the future, human emotions, ethics, values, and beliefs will be far more important as new age technologies such as robotics, AI, virtual realities, or augmented realities infuse more and more into our daily and industrial lives. Let's take a look at a video which demonstrates the fourth industrial revolution and how it's going to affect humanity.
The Industrial Revolution was driven by the discovery that you could use steam engines to do all kinds of interesting things.
That was followed by additional revolutions for electricity and computers and communications technology. We're now in the early stages of the fourth industrial revolution, which is bringing together digital, physical, and biological systems.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
We need a different economic model that will allow us to meet the basic needs of every human on the planet, and that will be focused not on growth per se, but on maximizing human well-being.
We have energy technologies that can power our civilization, but how do we get it and implement it at the scale we need at a price that people around the world can afford?
If we're able to do something to transform cities, to make them more efficient, then the impact can be huge.
We can use asset tracking, we can use IT, we can use 3D printing to decouple growth from the resource constraints we have.
The question of adding quality to quantity, it's really about a diverse, safe, healthy, and just world with clean air, clean water, clean energy.
Together we're fighting to preserve our fragile climate from irreversible damage and devastation of unthinkable proportions.
The prediction of 5 million jobs lost by 2020 to technology is serious, but the main question is, how will we define work? How will we share the wealth?
How can you have a doctor that really knows a lot about data? How can you have a biologist that knows about medicine?
We have to create a space that enables people to think freely, to think divergent thoughts, to think creative thoughts.
We really need new education We need training.
We're working with a World in Motion and First Robotics, trying to encourage students from 3rd grade all the way up through the end of high school to pursue science, math, and different technologies.
It's this ability of digital technology to change outcomes, to truly empower people that can create a more equitable growth.
Fourth Industrial Revolution has the potential to make inequalities visible and to make them less acceptable in the future.
I was the first person in the world to be able to voluntarily move my legs while stepping in a robot. The cure will be possible if enough of the right people have the will to make it happen.
We're seeing this incredibly exciting convergence of genome editing, DNA sequencing. Governments have a very important role to play in enabling the safe and effective use of technologies.
We need to take responsibility at every level of society to adapt to these technological challenges, which are redefining what it means to be completely embedded in this world.
Even though we have everyday problems we have to solve, we have to find a way to lay the foundations for the innovations of tomorrow.
In the next few years, I expect the digital transformation of life to bring huge changes. Everything from science to healthcare to sensors to robotics.
It's really the notion of digital technology pervasively impacting every walk of life in every vertical industry on all parts of the globe.
The speed is mind-boggling. What I'm particularly concerned about, it is how little the world is prepared for the fourth industrial revolution.
If we are not innovative, if we're not creative enough, it will be very difficult to survive in this century.
The world is changing from physical movement of goods to a lot of activity that is happening through digital medium now.
It's very difficult to try to bridge the gap between a borderless industrial revolution that's being governed by different policies and regulations in each territory and country.
People need to communicate from different disciplines, needs to work together, talk together, and actually come up with some great ideas there.
That was an informative brief on Education 4.0. In times of turbulence, the biggest danger is to act with yesterday's logic. A quote of Peter Drucker, often quoted by futurist Gerd Leonhard, globetrotter, Futures Agency, host of the Future Show,
All right. Hello, everybody. Namaste, and greetings from Zurich. It's great to talk to you in Chennai, remotely, however, and it's our pleasure to be part of the launch of Auronya College. I have a couple thoughts on the future to share with you today. First, I want to say that the future is better than we think. You know, these days we have lots of worries about the future, given certain political developments in the past and in the US, of course. But the future is actually going to look better than we think. I think there is quite clear that we're already seeing a scenario of where we are heading up this exponential curve. Everybody knows Moore's law and Metcalfe's law, but basically what's happening now is that we're now at a rampant part of this development where we are at 4 and the next step's 8, 16, and so on. So we're no longer at 0.1 or something like that. And basically we're at the takeoff point of this curve. And I'd like to say that science fiction is increasingly becoming science fact. And that's true if you look, for example, at the oil industry, if you look at the solar business, if you look at the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. And that basically means that things are becoming possible that we could have not imagined in our wildest dreams. And one of them is this convergence of man and machine. Well, convergence in parentheses, of course. And really what's happening here is that machines can now start doing things that used to be only human domain. So-called intelligent machines, cognitive computing. And of course, it's quite clear that these machines, with this convergence of man and machine, will change our entire economic setup. I think mostly to the positive, but of course there will be things that would be quite challenging for us. For example, the loss of jobs in routine jobs like call centers and those kind of things. But I think in general, we can safely say that this is a future to where thinking machines and artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things and human genome editing will reshape what it means to be human. And I think we need to be very careful about how far we go with this. I mean, I think we're at least 100 years away from machines that can think like actual people. But on the other hand, of course, in the meantime, we will have machines that think like machines, and that will already make quite a difference. And the Internet of Things, including the possibility of connecting healthcare, the possibility of changing our genomic makeup, this is quite a juicy morsel, if we can actually beat cancer in 25 years and solve diabetes and maybe beat aging. Some people are saying the end of death, which I think is a bit far-fetched, as you can see here in this cartoon. But clearly we're headed towards a future where man and machine will have a different relationship. And that will impact every sector of our society. And we have to be ready for this when we educate our kids, when we educate ourselves, really, for that matter. Because it means that anything that can be done by a machine, which is pretty much any routine job, will no longer be that interesting to us. So we're going to have to move up the food chain and learn differently. This is a significant challenge. As you can see, this wave of disruption has already hit the music business, media business, where I used to be as a musician and producer as a music business. And now next is banking and insurances and energy. And these changes are quite obvious, I think, if you observe the music business. Business as usual is dead, and we can safely say that roughly in 5 to 7 years, we're going to reach that point of what's called the singularity, where machines can do a lot more things intelligently. And at that point, we're going to have to really figure out how to redo the pharma business, the medical business, the healthcare business, and of course, education. The bottom line here, in my view, is that education will have to be really, really good about technology. Obviously, India has something like, I think, 23 million graduates from science, technology, engineering, and math. But beyond that, also the humanities, understanding people. This will become really, really important for our future. There's two things that we can stake our future on. One is what I call algorithms, essentially smart machines, technology, the Internet of Things, genome editing, all the things that are a bit science fiction at this point, but they're coming up very, very quickly. And the other one is what I call the algorithms. In my book, Technology versus Humanity, which I think some of you will receive as a present later, talk about the algorithms, which are things that make us human. So the andro, the human things, and that is emotions, feelings, innovation, creativity, all the things that make us human. And we're going to have to balance those two things, because the future is no longer just an extension of the present. And this is because technology is removing the context or changing the context. When I was in the music business, for example, it was quite clear that you could sell copies of music, at least in the West, in Europe, and now it's just in the cloud, and we have to change our model. Look at the solar industry. Right? In 20 years, it'll be completely clear that we've reached the end of oil. I have no idea why Donald Trump wants to build this pipeline, but obviously it won't be needed because in 20 years we're heading towards the solar energy. And in the music business, we went to the valley of death, and now it's all about cloud computing, cloud content, 100 million people subscribing. So this is a very important message, I think, particularly for India. And I've been to India many times. The things that have been successful in the past may be completely different in the future. And that is really hinging on education and teaching our kids how to go about this future. So there's 4 points I want to share with you. One is that we really have to learn how to observe the future. And everybody can do that. I'm not talking about 50 years, I'm talking about 5 years. We have to teach our kids to observe and to find out the future. In China, they like to say that if you want to know what the future, ask your children. So this is very important. We have to understand the future. This is a very human thing. We have to be able to imagine what that future looks like. And imagination is more important than knowledge, Einstein said, even though, of course, that is simple for him to say because he was a brilliant scientist. And finally, foresight, discovering foresight. That's really what our future is all about. That's what we have to learn in a college. We have to be future ready because education is increasingly about being future ready. And future ready does not just mean being able to code. It means being able to understand larger context. Artificial intelligence will teach us a lot about this. Basically, these are computer systems that can learn things that used to be human. Some people call that cognitive computing. And so for us, it basically means in less than 5 years, we're going to have to move up the food chain into jobs that are human only. And that education is absolutely crucial for that. Jobs that are human only includes anything that computers don't understand, which is relationships, and trust and purpose and meaning, ethics and those kind of things. So in this future, clearly, we need to reshuffle the deck because technology is getting all the good cards now. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that we need to be able to understand what it means. Intelligent means will change our world more than any other invention in the past 50 years. And I think it's 90% opportunity, don't get me wrong on this, but I think we need to also prepare our kids as to what the meaning of that would be and how you think about machines that can learn. Not a day goes by without some other company announcing machine learning and cognitive computing. But the bottom line is this, machines don't think like humans do. And that is very important to realize. Machines have their own way of thinking, and it's basically binary, zeros and ones. Humans think on 1,000 channels. And that is what education has to convey also, is to understand machines, but not become like machines. This is what we do when we think. Kahneman, the world's most renowned psychologist, said that cognition is embodied. We think with the body, not with the brain. And that is what makes us very unique, I think, also for the future of working for jobs. Moravec said this years ago, 30 years ago, whatever is very simple for a human is hard for a computer, and the other way around. And I think that shows the path to our future. Let's give the computers, the machines, the easy jobs, right? The binary thinking. But let's not have them decide on political matters or who's going to go on probation or what children we should have. We need to invest as much in humanity as we do in technology. This is crucial, I think, for our future, because after all, we are not technology. Some people may disagree on this, but I really believe we're not. And it's very important also to see the 4 kinds of intelligence: intellectual intelligence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence. Those are only human. Nobody else can do that. And the last thing is the artificial intelligence and machines that are going on top of the stack now, which is something that we can't go back on, and something we need to embrace. Very important to keep in mind that we now need to have a holistic view of the world. So the 3 bubbles you saw earlier, technology, humanity, now they're all combining, and this is what education has to do. Technology, humanity, organization has to merge together, and we must take a holistic approach to our education. And that is not an either-or thing. So I'm coming towards the end because I think my time is up pretty soon. Bottom line is this is my recipe for the future, and I think this is something that would be nice to be taken into consideration for the college. Data, information, algorithms, networks, understanding technology, intelligence, the 4 different kinds of intelligence, which we need to learn and understand. And finally, the algorithms, humanity, values, ethics, purpose, things that machines will never understand. I think that is kind of the curriculum that I would imagine for the future. So I want to thank you very much for listening. And the final say for my book is embrace technology, but don't become it. And I think that is the best path towards our future. Thanks very much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Leonard, and we hope to welcome you in Auronya soon. The world has seen the paradigm shift from Ptolemaic geocentric models to Copernican heliocentric, from the Greek Homo sapien to the endless galaxies of infinite worlds. But the essence has probably been closer home, that man is not apart from nature, but a part of it. In this thought-provoking video, we discern the deep genetic relationship between man and Mother Earth, where 3 seconds of human activity in magnification throws up questions of rights and responsibilities. For we are family, and only together can we make it to the 4th second.
Fun fact, planet Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Mankind, about 140,000 years old. Let me put that in perspective. If you condense the Earth's lifespan into 24 hours, that's 1 full day, then we have been here on this planet for, drum roll please, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. And look what we've done. We have modestly named ourselves Homo sapiens, meaning wise man. But is man really so wise? Smart, yes, and it's good to be smart, but not too smart for your own good. Yes, we have split the atom. Yes, we build clever machines that navigate the universe and search new homes, but